does it mean to be a landlord bro or a landlord or the investor class real estate people? Let's start at the very beginning. The only reason that somebody does that is because they don't have enough money to do anything else. So what they do is they leverage somebody else's money, and then they get somebody else to buy that property, and then they make a spread. They rent it out and they make a spread, right? What they're agreeing to do is indemnify the bankers or whoever lent the money to overpay for the property, and by definition, it's all overpaid. Whoever lent that money, that's who actually owns that property, right? Read your contract. There's no ambiguity there. Okay, that's who actually owns that property. And so when you guys do this, you're making a spread, right? You're agreeing to indemnify the banks. Look up the word indemnify, because some of you have never heard it before, I guess. You agree to indemnify the bankers from losses on their property, right? They own it. Okay, it's very clear in the contract. They own that property. You are buying the property assuming you pay it off, right? So you make a spread. The reason you get that spread is your premium for taking the risk and agreeing to indemnify. It's just insurance. That's all it is. It's no different than writing put spreads. It's no different than writing options in the stock market. Okay, you are not guaranteed a return, and for some reason in real estate, everybody thinks that they're guaranteed a return. Do any of you do this with someone who buys stock? Right, somebody overpays for a stock. Right, when you buy stock at a company, I don't think many of you understand this. Some of you do not understand this. You're buying a piece of that company because you believe that company is going to be profitable long term. That's the theory behind the stock market. But most of you are just buying stock. You're not really buying a piece of the company. You're just buying stock. So if you overpay for that and then you lose money because the value, the price goes down, does everybody freak out and say, oh my God, we need to start changing the laws to protect you from losses? No, nobody does. Nobody does that. Why? They just say, oh dude, you were stupid. You bought at the peak of the market. I mean, you're dumb. Why would you do something like that? But we do that with real estate. For whatever reason, excuse me. You guys do that. I don't do that. I say, dude, lose your money, man. You agreed to lose money, so fuck off. I mean, you agreed to that. But for whatever reason, a huge number of people say, no, we have to protect all of this. Like you can't explain it. Like I said, I mean, if I start cross-examining almost anybody, they run out of answers very quickly because they've usually never read any of this stuff. They don't know the contract. They don't understand what they agreed to. What they heard was a guru at the Airport Marriott or the Westin Grand Ballroom tell them real estate always goes up. You have to get in and buy it and leverage a bunch of money. And all that does is prop the value up well beyond its utility value, like way beyond its utility value. It would be like saying, okay, I don't know, let's say that GameStop is only worth $10 a share, and you decide, hey, let's pump it up to $700 a share, right? I mean, like when you look at the numbers, you're like, well, hold on, the company isn't even worth that. Like, I mean, the breakup value, like nothing is worth that money on that company. For example, I'm not picking on GameStop. I'm just using them as an example. Just first thing came to my head. So when you agree to do that stuff, you're getting a spread. That's how this works, okay? No, my private property. Yes, it's the banker's private property, right? It's their private property. It's not your personal property. You understand? Especially since a lot of you put it in LLCs, you have automatically removed yourself from it. So when I see these things where it's like, oh, now we're going to go ahead and get rid of right of adverse possession or the so-called squatter's rights, man, I did a video on this like 7 days ago, and I'm immediately hesitant that you should be doing something like this. Not because I'm on anybody's side on this, but I'm kind of looking out for you. You just don't know it. Because most of you are not thinking 30 or 40 moves ahead. You need to start thinking like 30, 40 moves ahead, because these people are after your money. They're after whatever wealth you have. They're not there to help you. The bankers are not there to help you. They're there to enslave you. That's what bankers do. That's what they do. They print dollars and worthless currency out of nothing, and then pretend it has value, right? And then you guys fall for it. Tons and tons and tons of people fall for it. And then of course it gets into the schools, and schools aren't what they were back in the day, like way back in the day, like back prior to 1850. those schools that back then, they taught you how to be free and independent, and that was the importance, and all that entailed with being free and independent. And now it's just, teaching ignorance and serfdom. Now that's all school. They used to try and teach you to be a drone in a factory, and they can't even do that anymore. They fucked that up. So I'm just telling you guys, a lot of you that think that this is the way to go, and you're going to start trying to change these laws and do sweeping regulations, I think you're going to sweep yourself out of the game a lot faster than you think. And so, just a word of caution. I keep telling you, I keep giving you guys caution, and nobody seems to listen. I mean, a few of you do, but the majority, well, nobody knows who I am. but my point is that, this is stuff that some mentor in your life should be kind of telling you this, right? You should be looking for people who can actually explain this shit to you in no uncertain terms, because the language in every mortgage contract you've ever signed is not ambiguous. It's very specific. The real owner of that property is the banker, right? You agree to that, okay? Now, right of adverse possession just simply says, listen, I mean, if you've been there the whole time, it's yours, right? Well, so for those of you who have personal property, and personal property is different than private property. I want to clarify something a little bit. This is how I view it. This is the world according to Axel here. I mean, but if you are on a property and you own it and you live there and you're actively doing stuff with it, that was common law for the longest time, and so much so that it was recognized even by the Norman Conquest. I mentioned this like 7 days ago, and it was recognized by even the founders of this country. When you start trying to undo shit like that, I would always exercise caution, but I don't think you're going to. I think that you're looking for a fast solution. I think you're looking for government. Government could fuck up a cup of black coffee, and you're going to go to them and say, hey, quick, government, solve this problem for us because we're losing money. Yeah, you're losing money, but you're supposed to actually get out of it. That's the signal. That's the market telling you to get out of it, right? Just like with wages. Like, I can't find anybody to work for my goddamn company. I'm paying $18 an hour. Clearly, that's not enough. That's the market signaling to you, you need to raise the wages, right? No different than if you owned a restaurant and you sell great burgers, but you put them out there for $400 a burger. No one's going to go to your restaurant. You might get one or two people who go there out of charity and goodwill to see what the hell